Peace, y'all. Since this episode was recorded before the passing of Kobe Bryant, we here at Rap Sucks Radio wanted to say rest in peace to him, his daughter, and the 7 other passengers on that helicopter. Both of us being fathers and Los Angeles representatives understand how great of a loss this is, and wanted to make sure that we extended our condolences to the families and to the people of Los Angeles and all fans of basketball and all things Kobe Bryant. We understand how great of a loss this is, y'all, so hold your families close and let's move. It's going down, man. Everybody, what's up? Y'all are live on Raps blah 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 blah. Y'all are live on Rap Sucks Radio. So maybe it's not really going down. Now it's going down. Y'all are live on Rap Sucks Radio. What's going on, y'all? What's up, Kev?
You sound like a mummy.
You giving away the episode too early, man.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Oh man.
Finally had a meeting, Kev. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Meetings. You know? Meetings are great.
They are. Well, yeah, it's just us drinking at least 6 beers.
Considering that we met yesterday and then today you text me and say, "Are we recording today?"
Okay, let me explain.
Clearly, no one distributed the minutes of the meeting.
Nah, I knew we were recording today. What it was a lob of hope because the Laker game was coming on at 5:30. So I was like, all right, let me just throw this out there and see what happens. But it's cool because what I did was I took a nap like right before the game. Like, all right, I better make sure I sleep because I didn't want to be, falling asleep.
And if you're tired,
that's funny. That is too funny. Yeah, but what I also realized was, so here's the thing. I can't drink hard liquor anymore. And it hasn't been a full year since that happened, but I don't know, man. It was one day I just woke up and was like, yo, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, done. Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that you were in the gutter. Like you were in an alley.
I think it's the way you have to peel yourself off your bed in the morning, like yo, this physically cannot take place any longer. But friends of mine, some present company, have said that I get loud when I drink. So now,
did I say that?
Yeah, I think you've mentioned it before. If not, it's been mentioned in your company, like.
I think you stay loud.
But anyway, yeah, I'm aware of it now. It doesn't change, but I'm aware that I'm getting louder and louder. But I really don't have a way of changing it. So it doesn't matter what type of liquor I'm drinking. I'm just aware that I'm probably the loudest person in the room. So, yeah. Or at least it feels that way.
All right. Well, I don't mind you feeling that way.
All right, well, fair enough. That was the funny thing about Friday's meeting. By the 6th beer, I was like, "Yo, why am I screaming right now?" But anyway, all right, yo, Rap Sucks Radio, y'all. Opening question, man. Thank y'all for rocking with us, man.
No doubt,
it's like fun. We're top 200 podcasts on Apple Music by stats that we cannot confirm. That's how I'm gonna put that. Rap Sucks Radio.
Yeah, but prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong. Yeah. Find the stats.
Get out of here.
Go ahead. Okay, Kev. Opening question, and this is going to be an odd one. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
All right. What did your grandparents, or what did your parents, or uncles, or whatever, aunts, call it when you washed off in the sink? Like, instead of taking a bath or taking a shower, you took a rag and some soap and washed off in the sink. What did y'all have a slang term for that?
Maybe like Wipe Down or something.
Okay.
That's like when I was a baby, like a kid, kid.
Okay. All right.
Why?
Well, I asked this because one day a couple nights ago, I was thinking about how my grandmother really didn't curse or anything like that, right? Like she wasn't one to curse. But then I was thinking, I grew up my whole life calling that a hoe bath. So I've been asking around, and the only other person that immediately said, well, he said whore bath, he's a white dude. But his family's also from Louisiana. So I was like, yo, is this a thing? Like a Louisiana thing, a Southern thing? So I've been asking around, like, to see if anybody else's grandmother or mother. My mother also doesn't curse, but does also call that a hoe bath, which is pretty interesting.
Wow.
But yeah, but anyway. Oh, man. Rap Sucks Radio hoes need baths, too. We'll see y'all on the other side, man. It's rap time. Let's go. Radio. What it is, good people? You are live on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Track Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
Hi, I'm Velvet Jones.
Wow. And this is yet another exciting episode of Rap Sucks Radio. As I said like 4 times before, but you got to brand it. Like that's the key this year. You have to make sure that you're branding it.
That's what it is.
And for those of y'all who have not tuned in 2020, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, Out Here Tripping has now been replaced by Kev.
Doing too much.
You know what I'm saying? So who is doing too much on this week's episode? Senator.
Wait, let me jump in real quick though, by the way.
Okay.
So I forgot to discuss this in our meeting yesterday.
Yes.
It should have been a primary agenda item. Okay. I have made the decision after 2 episodes in this decade to change doing too much to doing too much.
I think that's okay. So I was conflicted. I've written it two different ways.
Yeah.
I was conflicted. So yes, doing too much. Yes, that's how it'll be written down from here on out. I agree with you.
Okay.
Motion accepted. All
it's
right.
not too street.
It's not too street. Well, Out Here, we didn't have Out Here Tripping. We had Out Here Tripping.
Right, exactly.
So doing is perfectly fine. Yeah.
For the brand.
For the brand. You got to do it for the brand. All right. Yo, Senator Stephen Meredith is doing too much right now, yo.
Way too much.
Back-to-back Kentucky episodes. Reason being, a Kentucky lawmaker wants to grant police in his state the power to detain a person for 2 hours if he or she declines to offer up identification or answer an officer's questions while they're investigating possible criminal activity. Lawyers, Miranda warnings, forget about them.
Right.
My title for this was also Kentucky takes another L. It's back-to-back L's for Kentucky. This is sourced by Reason.com. And, like I said, the person involved is Senator Stephen Meredith of Kentucky. So, yeah, that's just the base information right now, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just kind of jump into what the bill states. So the bill states that the person who is being detained by police in this process is not considered under arrest, which appears to be a mechanism to try to keep a person from demanding a lawyer. Kev, we out here doing it, right? It could also get people to incriminate themselves by making them answer police questions or face temporary detention. We'll stop right there real quick. Oh, fam. I don't understand what the play here is for people that are continuing to try to do these things to take away rights from the people. Like, I get that there are a fair amount of crimes that we're like, oh man, we could have got him if we just did this or that. And I don't want to disrespect the victims of those crimes, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
But also part of me knows that the black people and the brown person in Kentucky looked at this and said, this is different from now. How?
For real though. I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, because a lot of times, man, it don't matter. Matter of fact, every time I've ever been in that situation, I'm just in the back of the cop car. Like I can definitely say that I haven't gone anywhere, but just simply, hey, how you doing? Go sit down in there. Like, it's not. I don't know what rights we really be discussing. So yeah, it's. But this is trash, though. Like,
that's the exact word that came to my mind. Trash.
Yeah, absolute trash.
It's like, aren't Kentuckians tired of being thought of as residents of a beautiful state that is run by completely trash ass officials?
I mean, dude, how long do you continue this? You know what I'm saying?
And at the same time, stop and frisk.
Oh yeah, Bloomberg is I didn't even put him on the list, but we could actually discuss him at random at this point. Like, we could just throw Bloomberg in the mix. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, stop and frisk. 3-strike laws in California, which have now been abolished or what have you, but still.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Come on,
Kentucky.
Yeah.
We come on, Kentucky. We did that, so you don't have to go through that.
Gotta go back in time, just constantly. Kentucky is just really backwards, yo. I guess it really is a backward state. More information, real quick. Rebecca DiLoretto, who lobbies for the Kentucky Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, warns that SB 89, which is the bill proposals, passage would lead to an environment where police would be able to detain people for up to 2 hours without having to keep official records because these people aren't technically arrested.
Yeah, it's dirty.
Yeah, it's kind of grimy, man. But that happens, though. I mean, now that you mention it, that's not a new thing, man. That's not a new thing at all. So yeah, you're absolutely right on this.
Yeah.
She acting like this is brand new. I'm like, oh, have you been to New York? Well, welcome to LA. Come kick it over here for a little while. Yeah, so she goes on to say the idea that we can detain people because we find them to be suspicious and we think they may commit a crime, that crosses a dangerous line. Now, unfortunately, it has been known to happen. Sometimes it's in a mostly white community where someone spots a black person walking down the street and they get suspicious and call police. End quote from Rebecca DiLoretto. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting footnote there, Rebecca. Good job there. Yeah. The crime in this case, in quotes, in this case is basically that you're here. We don't think from looking at you that you should be here. The potential for abuse in that seems obvious. All right. So I did a lot of reading there because I think that's kind of like the meat of this. Really, it's kind of hard to discuss this topic because it's actually just all the way trash. Like, what else do we really talk about? But yeah, just imagine standing out in front of a building waiting for a friend like we've had last year. We had a couple of these, right? Where, black man is outside waiting for a friend. Person finds them suspicious. Person calls the police or starts an argument or in many cases starts to take citizen action. I don't know what they were trying to do. And the police can just pull up and detain you for 2 hours because you don't want to answer no questions because really you ain't doing nothing wrong. So... yeah,
wasn't it in the article that they pointed at the example of a dude who was standing outside an apartment, but was being a little creepy, but he didn't say anything to the cops?
Yep, and they
so they claim, they claim that was an example of why they need something like this,
right?
Which, as much as he may or may not have been a creep, he literally was doing what we tell our kids to do. Just don't say anything.
Yeah, don't say nothing.
Ask for a lawyer, dog, and wait and wait for us.
Right. Well, what's funny about that example is he commit no crime.
Right.
They just said, and they found out he had warrants. I'm like, okay, so what did he do? He did something in the past, but what did he do to merit being the example? You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be one thing if it was like, yo, there was a dude that was standing out front of a building. We questioned him. He turned us away. We couldn't do anything about it. And then he walked in and stole, or he broke into a car, did something like that. But the example really just ended with, and he had warrants. It's like, okay. So?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. Doing too much though. Like, Kentucky, man. I don't know what Kentucky's trying to do. Kentucky's trying to win some type of award that,
doing too much.
Just doing too much.
That's way
too much.
Yep. They got the wrong turtle in charge over there.
For real.
They need Diego.
They do.
Pop in real quick.
They do.
Diego
man.
the Stilt. Pop in real quick and just some sense into him.
He got 2,000 of those. All right, man. Let's jump into this, man. This is actually the topic of the show right here, man. So we're gonna do some Grammy talk. The Grammys are,
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. I was gonna say this weekend. Yes.
Right. By the time this airs, it will have been 2 days ago. But
yep. Yeah. So this is kind of wild right here. All right. So, Recording Academy President and CEO Deborah Dugan has been placed on administrative leave. On Thursday, news broke that this is via Billboard, and Chuck D is going to be involved in this. Here it is. Damn. Anyway. On Thursday, news broke that Dugan had been placed on administrative leave just over a week ahead of the 2020 Grammy Awards, due to what the Recording Academy Board of Trustees calls serious concerns regarding her behavior. Those included a formal allegation by a senior female member of the Recording Academy team. Friday morning, Dugan hit back at the suspension through her attorney, stating that she would soon expose what happens when you step up at the Recording Academy. Right. And my favorite note that I wrote down, Kev, take it away.
Yeah, man, this is what we're here for, man. It's Rap Sex Radio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
We're about music.
Yep.
It's in our blood. That said, the Grammys have always sucked.
They have, for the most part, yes.
Like the crazy thing is that when I was working closely in the business side of the music industry, I'd never really watched the Grammys.
Right.
And especially being like a hip hop kid, like I was like, you're ignoring everything about the music that I love, so whatever.
Right.
And now I watch it sort of as a fan more than anything else, right? Just and as a old person, right?
Right. Right.
So I bring a lot of old head energy to the equation. But at the end of the day, what this is really about, more than even music or entertainment, is the Me Too movement and the representation of women in the industry and to a large extent to people of color in the music industry. Again, we talked about the same thing, just a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Because it's still a problem.
It remains a problem. What I mean? Yes. A couple weeks ago, though, when we discussed it, we discussed it in the film industry.
Right.
Right. So, So, just the entertainment industry overall. And
if nothing else, my hope is that the fact that these things are coming to light in the entertainment industry is just a function of the fact that people in the entertainment industry are better able to they have closer ties to the media maybe, or they have more power and ability to tell the story of all the messed up stuff that's happening than people who, women who are going through the same thing in the coal industry or whatever,
That's I was kind of going to go there.
Perhaps slightly less glamorous, the less red carpet event kind of industries in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that she said that this is what happens when, or she alluded to the word "step up," and the reason why is because the former president, this guy Neil Portnow, who has I think been president for a long time. So he's the guy who, you got two moments in the awards, in any award show, that are worse than the in memoriam. One is when the accounting firm comes up and describes why they're there. Like the people from Ernst & Young, and it's it gets painful for everyone. And then it's the president who comes up and tries to crack a lot of dad jokes and say stupid stuff. Right?
Yes.
And it's completely, and that's why you have to, and that's why you're going to play Kanye off stage right after his mother passes away. Cut it out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. To give time to the accounting department. Got it.
Exactly. Shout outs to all accountants.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You guys are very important people.
Yeah.
However,
Definitely.
I don't want to see y'all on stage with the Grammys. Yeah, got it.
So I think it was last year, if not the year before, where and I wasn't in his speech, but it was backstage. But I think he was speaking on the record to a reporter where that former president said that, and again, in the context, I don't have the full context, but he said something to the effect of, and it's certainly the thing everyone latched onto, is that women need to quote unquote step up.
Right. Okay.
Which was at the very least an idiotic choice of words.
Yes, very much so.
Right, and it got him pretty much, pushed out. And so this woman, Deborah Dugan, who I, never met in my life, know nothing about, came into the role. Now, if you are a female in the recording industry and you're coming into that role, presumably very well qualified, but also in an environment where this is just, this is happening and an evolution is happening and expected, you can make some changes, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to, she certainly doesn't seem like someone who tolerates a lot of nonsense.
No.
However,
not at all.
She certainly walked into a lot of nonsense, evidently.
Right.
Because it wasn't one thing.
No.
And we'll post sort of like, we mentioned Billboard, and Billboard has certainly covered, and I just happened to see a lot of it on Billboard, but I just saw a thing on Pitchfork that kind of gave a good TikTok of how things have gone down. But it's a long TikTok, because there's a lot of this, everything from so the person who got her suspended, I think, was the old president's assistant, who happened to be a female, who I believe this woman, Ms. Dugan, kept on, and I'm totally assuming, but was like, this was not your fault. You know what I mean? Like, you have a place here, and be my assistant. And this assistant accused Ms. Dugan of bullying her. Maybe she did.
Possible, but yeah.
I don't know any bosses who have gotten suspended from their jobs for bullying. Maybe they should have. Who knows?
Right.
But then what came to light when she sent the whole memo detailing the complaints that she had, there was sexual harassment directly at her, as well as something that, her saying that the voting and the nominations are completely biased.
Right.
Which I don't think is a shock to any of us.
No, it shouldn't.
By the way, shout out to Rhapsody.
Shout out to Rhapsody.
So all these things are coming to light, but also a lot of just spending, out of control spending. These are the same people that want to, look down their noses at whatever people in the president's cabinet are doing. Spending out of control, and you know what I mean, taking private jets everywhere.
Right.
It's
right.
like, but then you're doing the same thing. Like, let me tell everybody this right now. If I'm using someone else's money illegally to fly private jets to and from the recording sessions for Rap Sex Radio, I'm not going to talk shit about Trump's people.
No, not at all.
That's the point at which I will stop talking trash about Trump's people. Until then, I'm going to talk a lot of trash.
So we know clearly now that if you stop talking trash, you are using illegal funds. Got it.
Oh, and champagne wishes and caviar dreams. all of Oh man. But yeah, just like, and for the Grammys, which is I believe the Recording Academy is a nonprofit, and these guys are going crazy, so just a bunch of nonsense. And again, this is her perspective, and the truth is the truth, and one presumes that the truth is somewhere close to what she mentioned. But it's pretty nuts because she's getting treated terribly, and it's also just a week before the Grammys that this all came out.
Yep.
I don't know if it was a kind of play to get people to pay more attention to the Grammys, which I assume, like every other award show, is less popular than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
It has to be, especially with the lack of involvement of people like Chuck D and Public Enemy from the past. When
right, and you mentioned Chuck, so Chuck stepped up, right?
Yep.
Sorry, Chuck stepped in and gave his opinion and wrote a sort of open letter. And I'll read a quote just from the first paragraph, I think, of it. He said, as always, and the whole thing is good, but he said, as always, a bunch of ignorant, testosterone-fueled, usually old white men stop progress and screw it up. Same old bullshit.
Yep.
They want to keep it status quo and make sure things like hip-hop stay the poster child of their fuckery. And then it went on.
I mean, but
and by the way,
how
quick
accurate
shout
is
out.
that? Yeah.
Seems pretty damn accurate to me.
It seems like life accurate. Yo, do the shout out real quick though. I want to make sure that shout out gets real clear.
Well, he also went on because he shouted out DJ Lord, who's been a member of the group for a while. Who I'm not, I know of, but I'm not tight with. But who's been a member of the group for a long time. Who they had to they're getting honored by the Recording Academy, the group, and they had to somehow they were getting pushback on allowing Lord to be part of the ceremony, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's
like, shut up. And then also, the reason I know about his letter is because of his manager, Lori Bula. So shout to them. Shout to Chuck for doing what he's always done. It's crazy because, they boycotted the Grammys in 1989.
Yep.
So that's over 30 years ago.
Over 30 years ago. How old are we? But keep going. What, first of all, double shout out to Lori. What up, Lori?
It's still the same. Yeah,
it's still the same.
Definitely.
Well, but see, that's the and here's the thing, and I'm gonna take it off the Grammys a little bit because I'm just noticing a trend that I think is entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And it's entertaining in like a horrible way, like a car crash. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Here's this thing that we've done over the last year or so. We've tried to do this aggressive response to Me Too. You know what I'm saying? Where an actual movement that brought to light some very serious issues in our society concerning equality, right? Is now being challenged in the weirdest ways. It's being challenged, I would say, goofily by, even if I know you personally and we ran together, but I'm going to just say this about you, by goofy people, because y'all goofy, right? So what men are now doing, my brethren are now doing, is finding these little small pockets of discourse or disagreement and trying to make a case that women are getting too much in response to Me Too. You see what I'm saying? And you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, now we're going too far in a way, right? And anyone who disagrees with them is now brainwashed by the Hollywood, propaganda machine of matriarchy or whatever. But here you have it, in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, this same thing is going on. It's not like Hollywood is pushing an agenda, as much as you think they are. We're saying that this whole thing is an agenda. That's what a lot of men are doing. Oh, this is all agenda based. And I've seen people get upset that there was a woman protagonist in Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? There's been long, diatribes about why would there be a woman protagonist in Star Wars? I'm going so Princess Leia just never existed? Are y'all what happened to y'all? Like, what are we doing right now? So this is actually kind of par for the course for me, because I think that these sharp, like Chuck D said, these kind of rough responses to these equality movements, or more or less, I mean, equality movements, yes, but I'll say movements that bring things to light, like Black Lives Matter, like Me Too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The response to them is always so ignorant and hate-filled. You know what I mean? That you just start to be like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, is this how you're going to continue to handle these things? To where Chuck D has to step in from 1989, like Chuck D got to step in and talk about it. Like, to me, it's pretty wild, man. Like, I'm just noticing that this response is pretty consistent across the board. And I wish I could say it was just old white men. I wish I really could, man. I wish I could say that this was an old white man problem, but this seems to be just a general male problem. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, the victimization of the oppressor,
right?
Or whatever, whatever that ends up being. You know what I mean? It's like, and not to recontextualize anything, because I hate the all lives matter nonsense as well. But Me Too is the handle. Me Too is the hashtag. But I see the silliness in, I mean, the way I see it is a group of people, whether it be women or anyone else, saying, hey, I'm here too.
Right.
And then the people who they're speaking to, who don't seem to get that, saying, what about us? It's like, shut up.
Right.
That's the problem. Shut the hell up. Let me speak for, let them speak for a second. Let me speak for a second. You fall back for a second. Yeah. Until you show that you know how to be a good listener.
This is going to be real.
I feel like I'm talking to my daughter.
Well, I feel like a lot of times this is a really funny one, man, because I'm talking to my dad, and my dad said something that kind of falls into the context of the Chuck D's point or whatever, or this whole thing, which is, people don't want to see things change because they're benefiting from how they are. That's,
of course,
that's the science, right? My dad just, basically said, water is wet, but right. You just said something very profound, victimization of the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? But here's what's most interesting to me about the Me Too movement and the response to it from men like myself, men in general. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To trek life this all up and take a long road around to get to one point, I'm gonna just say it like this: a person has an argument with their significant other, right? Mm-hmm. They say to their significant other, okay, listen. Because they think their significant other is just having a bad day, and that's why the argument is happening, right? They've taken this off of themselves, So they, right, in order to just kind of get past the argument, say, you know what? Tell me what's wrong. Tell me what the problem is. You see what I'm saying? And when the significant other says, well, you're the problem, and this is why you're the problem. Now you don't want to hear it no more. Now I don't want to hear it. No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't want to hear you speak anymore. That's all right. I thought the problem was your job. I thought your problem was the kids. I thought your problem was your homegirl. But if the problem was me, I don't want to hear it. And that is the other side of the response. Me as a man listening to the response from Me Too, or listening to the response of women across the world and how they feel in various situations, right? I've had to take L's. I've had to take an L. I've had to accept it. Damn, man, I've done that. I've said that. I've acted that way. I've approached a woman that way. All of these things. Now you're listening and you're realizing that, dude, I was all for your freedom of speech, but now you talking about me.
Until you were talking about me.
And that's to me, that's what happens so much, and people don't like it because they resemble the issue. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all like this: as a grown adult male, stubborn as I've ever been in my life, I'm gonna tell every man that's listening to this: accept the fact that at some point in time you've been the problem. Just accept it. You know what I'm saying? Accept it, listen, teach the next man, the next young man coming up how to not be the problem. And all of this sounds like kumbaya or whatever, but it's a reality, man. It's something that I truly have tried to practice over the last couple of years, like 3 or 4 years. And this is not just because I have daughters, because my daughter was well in 9 years old by the time I started really learning these lessons. You know what I'm saying? This is about being able to listen and accept the fact that you might actually be part of the issue. And when people find themselves as part of the issue, they want to tune out the topic. Oh, this has gone too far. People are asking for too many rights. It's like, nah. The problem is, this is discussing you now. So you got to figure out how to act. So, all of this culminates into that. Well, not all of it culminates into that. That's kind of like saying, yo, I got all the answers, which I don't. I'm saying that's just one of the reasons I think y'all respond so goofily and so corny to this. And it's got to be this lizard people conspiracy type thing and reason why these things are happening. It's like, no, man, you're just finding out that you've been an asshole. And if you know what I'm saying? And if you're like me, you go, damn, man, I didn't realize I was, at least to the full extent, I didn't realize I was being that type of asshole. So look yourself in the mirror, man up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the only disagreement I have with that, which is kind of a disagreement, is like, to me, part of growing up as a young person is getting to know, one of the things you learn is what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
And the funny thing is that children know it. They got a pretty good sense of that.
Sure.
Unless they're psychopaths, Generally, they know, like, what they're not supposed to do, what they're supposed to do, because when you call them out on it, they cry. They have this visceral emotional reaction when they know they've done something wrong.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
But then they learn, like, okay, there are other things that I should or shouldn't do, should or shouldn't say, or whatever, right? And then as you become more mature, you get sort of a better sense of that and be able to recognize, like, or you also are able to sort of catch yourself before you do that. Hopefully more often than not, right? So before you do the stupid thing or say the stupid thing or act on the stupid thought in your stupid head, you can catch yourself and say, you know what, that's probably not the best way to go about this situation. Again, not all the time, hopefully more often than not. Being a grown-ass adult is I think, this is my opinion, is knowing that you're never going to get it 100% right. So one, you have to get right with that fact.
Right.
Like
sure.
you said, look in the mirror and know that, hey, today, just like any other day, there's a good chance I'm going to screw something up. But when that happens, and when it happens and somebody calls you out on it, especially the person who you did it to, you have to be able to hold that L with both hands.
Yeah.
And shut the hell up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so hard, but it's really that simple.
It really is.
And we have not been very good at it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you would think that accountability is a word from space that nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. Yeah, man. I try not to speak from a place of perfection. Like, I recognize, like you said just now, like, hey, I'm gonna do something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I might end up on the other side of this conversation in a way that I didn't even realize I was being that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't even realize it. But because a lot of our prejudices and a lot of our poor character or poor belief is embedded in this, man. It's years and years and years of thinking that way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some of those things you don't even know you on that. You don't even recognize how you sound sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, I don't know. It's worth repeating. I know this isn't a dead horse thing, because I think a lot of people really do need to hear this. Like, yo, man up, B. Like, G up. Get it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, guess what? We're going to talk about this. Not a lot, not a ton, but a good little bit. You know why? Because we're talking about practice.
For real. Yeah, it's worth noting multiple times because a lot of people just don't seem to get it. Like, don't seem to get that there is a real, these things are coming from real life response, real life effect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People aren't just screaming Me Too because nothing's happening. You know what I mean? Like, you could post articles about poorly worded or maybe even false accusals of Bill Cosby all day. But the reality is there are actual legitimate accusals that, you know what I'm saying, that were real. That
right.
Doesn't matter how you feel about it. You could feel however you want. You know what I'm saying? But that there are legit accusals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I like them too. But that's just how this works. You know what I'm saying? You can say, well, Harvey Weinstein, you know, she wanted to be a star and that. Yo, listen, dude. No. Maybe she did step up 30 years later. Maybe she did step up 20 years later or whatever. But at some point, maybe she, whoever she is, looked up and saw a young actress on the way up and said, yo, that can't be the world for every young actress going forward. This can't be how you make it. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. Mm-hmm.
It's fine if you're willing to make it that way, whatever. But you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. And if you're a sane person, right? If you're a sane person with any human compassion whatsoever, then you say, yeah, nah, I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through that. Or feel like that is the best way to accomplish a goal, is to have sex with disgusting looking Harvey Weinstein. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or be groped by a famous producer or whatever. Like, come on, man. Like, why would y'all think that that's okay to begin with? Like, to me, this is simple. You know? But, you know, I don't know. I guess, you know, I guess it's difficult to comprehend when you're dug into your stance. But I'm not dug into my stance. I'm hoping I can pull a lot of y'all out of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to run around with I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar shirts on. I'm just saying, recognize the issue when you see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And if all else fails, as long as you're not in Kentucky, just keep your mouth shut. Just shut up.
Right. Just be quiet. Oh, man. Yeah. It could go on and on. And like you said, we're going to talk about it quite a bit. This is not going to be the last episode that these type of topics come up.
These are grown man line drills, baby.
Right? You know what I mean? Get your wind up, fam. Get your wind up. All right. Let's switch to something less serious, though.
Unless you're in Florida.
Unless you're in Florida. Hey, man. Have you ever eaten lizard before, Kev?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I've had frog legs, though.
Oh, well, okay. Wait, what are frog amphibians? Okay. I was about to say, are frogs lizards? But I'm you know, see, I caught myself.
Wow. You just offended the entire lizard community.
I did. Yo, this is all good. See, you gotta learn how to talk to people. Here's your topic here's your title for this. When life gives you lizards, make lizard tacos.
That's terrible.
Oh, man. Cold weather in Florida causes iguanas to die and fall from trees. Floridians are selling those dead lizards' meat on FB's marketplace. USA Today reports. Iguana meat,
crazy,
dubbed. Yo, you got this? Did you see that? What they called it?
Yep.
Chicken of the trees.
I think I did.
Chicken of the trees. Does everything taste like chicken? Like,
evidently so in Florida.
I guess so. Wait, did frog legs taste like chicken? Because I've heard that.
No, frog legs are a little. They're a little chewy.
Okay.
As I recall, they were a little nasty.
All right.
I wasn't a fan.
Wait, was that at the Pomona Fairgrounds?
No, this is a long time ago. Also, I don't want to offend anybody who's a fan of the frog legs.
Oh,
but maybe they weren't cooked correctly. Who knows?
Hey, You can not like a food. It's okay.
What do you mean? It's not like I'm sitting here talking trash about pizza.
I mean, right.
Like an anarchist.
Listen, I have had pizza in Chicago, New York, and Italy, and I didn't like it in any of those places. I think I've done a fair amount I've made a strong attempt to like pizza. Y'all just gonna have to let me have it.
You probably went in Italy. You probably went to the Olive Garden.
Oh my God. Anyway,
or like Sparrows or something.
Listen, Kev. Concerning the iguana meat, quoted here, it says, "My mango season may be months away, but if you live in South Florida today, your trees may be ripe for the picking of iguanas," according to the Herald, which published the headline, "Tacos, anyone? Iguanas are falling from the trees, and people are selling the meat online." All right.
Terrible.
Somebody, I want somebody who's actually had like iguana meat or lizard meat to tell me, because I know people have eaten like alligator and crocodile before. I'd imagine it's got to be something similar to that, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
But I read in the same article, it said iguanas are protected by anti-cruelty laws. Okay. But that hasn't prevented people from cooking up the paralyzed critters. Now, that's the thing. They don't die and then fall down.
Oh.
They fall down because it's cold. So
they're
just
not,
like,
it's like dead. Oh my God.
No, it almost like it paralyzes them. I think that, because they're cold blooded and they're cold. It's cold. Shit, if I was in a tree and it was less than 40 degrees, I don't think I could hold on. So they fall down. Maybe they die when they hit the ground. I'm not sure, but that's a little cruel. I think at least in a Kentucky court of law, you could prove that that's a little cruel.
Well, yeah. That might be the one
Kentucky,
time.
They would just open up their mouth and just catch them as they fall down.
Kentucky boy. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't get that clear. So
I think that's what I read, what I understood. Yeah. Yeah, they like...
That's horrible. That's so messed
Isn't it,
up.
though?
It's like crabs, though, man. They're not dead when you throw them in the pot. Like, they just, like, scream or whatever.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. And I have a little bit of a closer connection to that whole terrible scenario as well.
Oh, really? Is it story time? Or you...
No, not particularly, but I've had crab legs a lot more than I've had frog legs or certainly iguana.
Hey, yeah. I was going to say they scream deliciously, but then I felt like maybe that's a horrible thing to say. But man, I'm not a huge fan of like lobster, so I don't really eat lobster. The only time I eat crab legs is in like gumbo. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big person to go order crab or whatever. And in California rolls, it's all imitation crab. I think most of the stuff I eat is imitation crab, but that doesn't mean that I won't snap that legs. You know what I'm saying, son? Snap that leg if you in gumbo, it's a wrap.
Well, that's okay. So then let's have the equal time conversation. Have you discussed? I'm sure you have with your oldest, but how did you have the discussion that turned the corner from this is the picture in the book of the animal, and this is the same thing that you're eating right now?
Never had that discussion.
Oh, dude, we're getting close, and I'm just like, I look at wifey, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Not gonna change our heinous habits, but yeah. Like, wait, this is a fish? This is what? Why do you call this fish? And that's fish too. I was like, just eat.
Yeah, go ahead and eat that. Listen. When we were in Molokai, they're not fattened up enough to eat, but chickens are running around, and we just queuing up chicken. Like, yeah, you're eating that, but just a fattened up version of it. So yeah, my oldest, savage as she may be, is like just staring at it like, tastes delicious. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
but I always hear that story of the Southern person. Well, I don't want to always say Southern, but person who grew up around livestock or whatever, and they made a pet of the creature that eventually the family would eat. And I always feel like it's so sad.
How'd that work out?
They always tell the story, but they're telling the story at dinner. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess you grew out of that one. So,
time to go.
Yeah, exactly. So, whatever you named Charlotte was eaten. Didn't matter.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, I hope that kind of makes the story a little worse if they
I would name my pet iguana George Zimmerman.
Wow. Wow. There's so many things I want to say, but we are a top 200 podcast and Apple Podcasts, and I'm just nervous about the government. You know what I'm saying?
Watch The Crown.
Yeah, I don't want to go to 161st, man. I want to.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty wild. Well, I mean, I don't know. If somebody's listening to this and they want to hit us up on RSR podcast on Facebook or Rap Sucks Radio on Instagram and let us know, like, how does that taste? So just in the comment section or wherever you're listening from, because we'll get your comment.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how iguana taste. I really am. I'm not going to try it.
Are they good eating?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good eating. Because it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't look like an appetizing thing at all.
And that if we get a focus group of 10 people who've had iguana, there's one of them likes the iguana claw.
Oh my God.
Fried hard and shit. Oh man.
Oh man. All right, well, that's our time, man. We appreciate y'all listening to Rap Sucks Radio, man. Catch us on any of your platforms whatsoever. Please feel free to comment on RSR Podcast on Facebook or Rap Sucks Radio on Instagram. We also have a Twitter, but we don't really. Twitter's a cesspool, so we'll wade into that when we get to top 100. More than anything, I'm not ready for it yet. I don't have a piece of patience for it. I already got to deal with old homies on the Facebook one. I'm not ready for y'all on Twitter yet. So yeah, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all of that, man. Jump in and mess with us. You know what I'm saying? We around.
Podbean,
yeah, exactly, yeah, or mainly Podbean, rapsucksradio.com. So yeah, this is Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Track Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
Yep.
Like, comment, subscribe, discuss, get down with us. We will catch y'all next week where we will discuss. We never do that, but we did miss a topic, so I might throw it in next week. We'll holler at y'all, man. We hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the week. On the count of 3, we say peace. 1, 2, 3.
Peace.
Damn it. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.
Oh, Lord.